Hey y'all, what is up? I have not been on here in a hot minute. How y'all doing? If my comments are not disabled, go say hi so I can see who's watching. Like my videos, of course. But I came on here today to tell you guys about Ollie's birth story. So, if you're not friends with me on Facebook or following me on Instagram, I had Oliver six and how old is he? What is today? Tuesday. He's 6 weeks, 2 days old. I had to think about that for a second. And so I thought I'd get on here and kind of tell you guys about his birth story. I had all the plans in the world to try to vlog my birth story, but I'll get into why it didn't happen. So if the quality of this video is not that good, it's because we don't have our computer set up yet, and for editing and stuff, and so I can't use anything but my phone, and I wanted to get this video up regardless of the quality of the video so you guys could kind of like hear it but also see him. So and he might wake up during the video, so I might have to feed him, but anyway, so on August 30th I had a doctor's appointment, but 2 weeks prior to that, my appointment that was like 2 weeks before that, I was having like tons of pressure, and I actually started having like on and off contractions, but they like weren't really going anywhere. They'd come and go, and there'd be like a couple times there'd be like, oh, they're getting to like 5 minutes, lasting a minute long, and then go away. And that was like when I hit 36 weeks, and so that's the sweet mark that I wanted to hit was 36 weeks, because that means they have very little to no chance of NICU time, and I know that's not the case for everybody, but that was the like my safe zone that I felt most comfortable if I had to deliver at was 36 weeks. So I wanted to hit 36 weeks. So 36 weeks comes around, no baby. 37 weeks comes around, no baby. And between 37 and 38 weeks, I started trying everything to try to induce labor. I had tried drinking the red raspberry leaf tea. We tried pineapple, walking sex. I tried it all, y'all. I wanted him out of me. I was like, I'm done. Get this kid out of me. So I went into my 38-week appointment. And for those of you who don't know, I had Sophia at 38 weeks 1 day, which is our 2-year-old that will have almost two, should be 2 next month. Anyways, I've rabbit tail a little bit, so sorry about that. But so I had my membrane sweep done with her at 37 weeks 5 days, and she came at 38 1 day. And so with Oliver, I was like, I just want to try. Like, we'll try. I was like, the worst case happens is I don't have him, and we set an induction date for the following week. So go into my appointment, get my membrane stripped, and I was at a 2. And my doctor said my cervix was still pretty high, so she didn't know if it was going to work, but we would try and see. So and I was having contractions that morning leading up to my doctor's appointment, and even after I had it done, I was having contractions still. So my mom, Sophia, and I went shopping because I wanted to find a shirt that said Big Sister for Sophia, because I hadn't found one. They're like nowhere to be found. Excuse me. So we go looking around, can't find one. I'm just like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So we customized one at the mall. So while we're at the mall, we're like, well, let's get something to eat, so that way if I do go into labor, I at least have something like a heavy meal on my stomach. So we go to this restaurant. I won't even name the name because I'm not going to bash them. And it was the worst meal of my life. Like, it was just, everything was burnt and just nasty. It was just gross. So we had that happen. So that was about 3:30 or 4, and I was still having contractions and like lots of pressure, but like I did the same thing I was having for the last 2 weeks. So I was like, this just isn't going anywhere. So around 8 o'clock at night, my hubby had to leave for work. So my mom decided to spend the night with us. And she's like, well, I'm just going to be here in case you need to go in or your water breaks, and he's gone at work. While he's coming up, at least somebody's there to watch Sophia for us, which I greatly appreciated. So we go on a walk after my husband leaves for work, and we're walking, and I'm starting to, like, they're starting to pick up to the point to where I'm, like, having to stop to breathe through them, but they reminded me of the ones I had with Sophia where they didn't do anything. Like, I was in labor and delivery 2 nights in a row back to back with her before my water broke with her. And so I was hoping my water would just break, and then I could be admitted, and that just didn't happen. So we went walking in my neighborhood, got lost, and I'm not even kidding, like, we didn't know where we were at because we never walked my neighborhood at night before. Like, ever, but like at night you're walking with a baby, a pregnant mom, and then my mom. And so we ended up, you know, finding our way back. And by the time we got back to the house, they had picked up and they were like coming every 2 minutes, lasting a minute long. But I was just like, you know, I'm not going to go in until I'm in like excruciating pain. Like, I can't handle this. So around midnight, I start messaging my sister. And I'm like, you know, they've been coming and going since like 8 o'clock at night. They were like 2 to 3 minutes apart. Some were like they'd be like 1 minute apart, lasting a minute. So they were consistent. So she was like, you just go in and get checked. She was like, worst case scenario, they send you home. We live like 10 minutes from the hospital, if that. So I was like, you know what, you're right. So I wake my mom up around 12:30. We get to the hospital about 1. They check me, and I was about a 3 to 3.5, almost a 4, but not quite. So they sit me on the monitors, and I'm having constant contractions, and they can see that, but it didn't dilate anymore in almost 3 hours of us being there. So they offered me, I don't even know what it was called, but they offered me a relaxer that's supposed to like help relax your muscles. So if you aren't in real labor, it's supposed to stop the contractions, and that's just what it is. If you're in real labor, your contractions are supposed to keep going. Well, I missed that part, so keep that in mind. So I missed that part of not understanding what she said because I was just like tired. We didn't get home until like 4:30 in the morning, and I was just like ready to go to bed. So they offered me that, and they also offered me morphine to help with the pain, and I declined the morphine because as much as I wanted like pain relief, and I was in a lot of pain, I wanted to listen to my body and know if I was in actual labor that I didn't have something that was like helping with the pain. So we get home around 4:30, and my hubby draws me a bath, and I go and soak for about an hour, and that's when like the muscle relaxer started kicking in because I started like feeling my muscles like relaxing a little bit, and I got really tired. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go try to lay down and get some sleep because we knew he was coming within the week. If he didn't come that weekend, we were being induced on Tuesday, so we were gonna have him within 48 hours. So and there was a few things to that, and I'll get into that in a minute. But so we get home, I take my bath, and I go lay in bed, and at this point, I think it's like it was almost 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and my hubby got Sophie back to bed because she had been up the whole time at the hospital. She was like, what's going on? And like, having her, you know, I get to be awake and not sleeping type thing because she's a night owl. So I started still having contractions, but I was able to like sleep through them, and I was just trying to like be like, okay, the pain's not that bad, whatever. And I think I woke up around 9:30 or 10, maybe it was like 10 in the morning, and I was still having contractions, and my hubby was like, should we go in? Like, what do you think? I'm like, they're just gonna send me home. I'm being a big baby over here. Like, I was just like, with Sophia, I went into labor and delivery 3 times before I got admitted the 2 nights prior. So I was like, I don't want to just keep going in and having them be like, nope, it's not time. Like, you know, you'll know when it's labor. And because I knew I was in labor, but I didn't know if I was in like early labor, active labor. Like, I just knew that I was in some sort of labor and he was coming soon. So around noon, my hubby goes into the bathroom to do his morning business and take a shower. And while he's doing that, it like all of a sudden it hit me, and I hit transition. Like, and I didn't know it when I was at the house that I had hit transition. All I knew was my contractions started coming back to back and lasting a minute to a minute and a half, if not longer, and I couldn't move. I was on the ground in like doggy position, like rocking back and forth and like moaning, and was like, ow, 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 like whole 9 yards. I wasn't screaming. I was just like, ow, this hurts, like trying to like breathe and talk through them. So he comes out and sees me like that. He's like, we're going to the hospital. He's like, this is labor. Like, you're never, like, he's never seen me in pain like that before. And he's like, you're in labor. Like, if you're not, you know, fully dilated, you've dilated past 3.5. And so I was like, no, I'm just going to go take a bath. I was like, I think if I just take a bath, like, I'll be fine. Like, it'll just relax me and I'll be fine. And he's like, no, he's like, we're going to the hospital. So he literally gathers up everything. 'Cause at this point, I can't do anything. So, and I hadn't eaten for almost 20, I think it was like 20 hours. And so I went downstairs and we had some donuts, and I tried eating, and it like almost made me throw up. So I drank some apple juice and was like, okay, like I can do this. So we load up, get Sophie in the car, and my mom had taken off that morning because she didn't think it was real labor either, because she was just like, you know, I would have like come out of the room or like been like I'm still having contractions or whatever. So, whatever. So we get to the hospital around 1, I think it was like around 1 o'clock, and I looked at my husband and I was like, there's no way I can walk in that hospital. It was like, if I'm not in labor, I'm like, I'm the biggest baby right now because I'm like, I can't move. Like, I physically could not move through the contractions. Like, I had to be rocking. Like, they hurt so bad. So, we get to the hospital, we get into the parking garage and park, and he gets Sophie out the stroller, grabs all of, grabs all the stuff I wanted, which was pretty much just my purse is all I took in with me because I just was like, I'm not bringing everything in with us. So we get there, and he gets me a wheelchair, and we're about to go in, and we're like trying to figure out, like, is he gonna push me? And I pushed the stroller, like, we didn't, like, no. And this volunteer lady comes out, and she was getting ready to leave, and she saw us, and she's like, do you want some help? And so this, like, super nice lady pushes me up into labor and delivery while Tom pushes Sophia in her stroller. We get up into labor and delivery, and the check-in, like, triage area, they were, like, asking me questions, and I, like, looked at Tom, and I was like, I can't even, like, I can't answer these questions. Like, you have to answer them for me. Like, I can't. Like, the only thing I was able to fill out, I think, was, like, my social security number and my date of birth, and the rest I was just like, I was out of it. I was just like, I can't, like, anything. So he helps them get all my information, like my license, insurance, all that stuff they need. They took care of it. And I remember like still breathing through the contractions, and like all the nurses there at their like stations were like staring at me, and I'm like I feel like a big baby right now, like this is like ridiculous. So they go and take me to triage, and they're like, okay, like, let me know when your contraction ends and we'll check you. And my contractions were back to back, where I was like, when are you going to check me? Because, like, they're constantly coming. So I had, like, a break for maybe 20 seconds, if that. And she checks me, and she's like, girl, she's like, you're at a 7. She's like, you're having this baby soon. And so all I remember at that point, because I was in so much pain, was Tom sitting on next to me, like, holding my hand, Sophie staring at me like, why the hell is my mom, like, in so much pain? Like, she didn't even cry. She was just, like, concerned, like, what's going on? So, they take me into my room where I'm going to give birth to Ollie. And, all I remember is getting in the room, and then, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, because we told my parents that we were going in and to come get Sophie, all I remember is getting in the room, and they start asking me all these questions about my medical history, and I'm just like, I can't even answer these. I'm so out of it. I remember my mom coming in the room, grabbing Sophia while I'm, like, rocking on the side of the bed, and within, I think it was less than 30 minutes of us being at the hospital, the anesthesiologist came in, gave me my epidural. I had that in within, like, probably 5 minutes. It was super fast. And then the doctor who was going to deliver Ollie, she came in and checked me. She's like, you're at a 9. So within like an hour, when all said and done, when she came to check me, I was at a 9. So by the time the epidural wasn't even fully like working when she had checked me. And so they were like, well, let's give the epidural a little bit of time to kick in so that way, like, you're not in intensive pain when you go to push him. So we waited about an hour to see, like, if my body would just, how my body would react and everything. So around 4 o'clock, the doctor comes back and is like, oh, yeah, you're ready to start pushing. And so the epidural was completely working. And so I started pushing, and it was within, I think, 5 minutes, if that. I think it was only 3 pushes, like 3 sets of pushes. And he was out, like, and he was helping himself out. Like, the doctor was amazed, like, he was actually moving himself out. Like, he was just like, get me out of here, like, I'm ready to meet the world. And so that was crazy. So yeah, and then he came at 4:15 on August 31st, and then he weighed 8 pounds, 5 ounces, and was 21 and a half inches long. So he was a big, decent sized baby. Between the two, he was way easier to give birth to. My pregnancy with him was way worse. I was, like, miserable the whole time. but delivery with him was a breeze. I was up walking around an hour after I had him. I did get like 2 stitches, but I couldn't even feel them. Like, the doctor did such a good job taking care of me. I had this, like, the group of women that helped deliver Ollie. Everybody that was in labor, like the labor and delivery room with us, was like, it felt like I was just being loved on, and like, just very motherly. And I didn't have that experience with Sophia. Like, I still felt like the lovey feeling, but not the mothering, like, you know, you've got this, like, whatever, if that even makes sense. Like, it was more of an enjoyable experience for me. So we only stayed at the hospital for 25 hours. I wanted out of that place. I felt amazing other than being sleep deprived. And the only thing that hurt was, like, my stomach muscles. Like, I just felt like I had went and did a huge workout. That's all I felt. Other than that, I felt great. I was obviously, like, you know, you swell when you have a baby. I was a little swollen, but nothing like Sophia. Like, it was night and day difference. So to me, it was just crazy. And I looked at Tom and I was like, I think I could have another if my labor and delivery was just like this. Like, fast, easy, not very painful. I could have more kids. And so that's crazy. And I'll show you guys him, obviously, in a minute. But the reason why we were going to be induced was he already was showing he was a bigger baby from the get-go. From, I think, like, my 12-week ultrasound, he was always 2 weeks ahead of the game. And we had our first ultrasound at, like, I only think I was, like, 5 weeks, 4 days, or 5 weeks, 5 days, something like that. So those ultrasounds are very accurate. So if you have one, like, super early on, not all doctors' offices do them. I get them because I'm considered high risk. And so my doctor is completely fine with me getting early ultrasounds. It gives me peace of mind. We get a better dating on when their due date is. So at my last ultrasound that I had, my doctor was out of town. And so she didn't get to go over the report, but the ultrasound tech has said that my fluid level was higher than it should be, but it's not a huge concern as long as the baby's breathing on their own. And there's, like, a few other things that she ran. So Oliver was looking great, and this was like a week and a half prior. So it was like a week or week and a half prior that I had this ultrasound. So when I saw my doctor at my 38-week doctor's appointment, she had said, you know, your fluid levels are high. She's like, the hospital will not let us induce until 39 weeks. But she's like, because you've had a stillborn beforehand and you are technically considered high risk, she's like, I'm going to push this through and just say that since your fluid levels are high, we need to get you in to induce you early. So that was why we would have been induced early. And I know that some people are not a fan of being induced and say, you know, you should trust your body and whatever. But when you've lost a child, it gives you better peace of mind knowing my baby's okay and my baby's going to come early than I'm going to go past my due date and not know what the outcome can be. And so that was the reason why we were automatically going to be induced early anyways. Like, we weren't going to go over 39 weeks. So Mr. Ollie decided to make his appearance fast. So, but let me see if I can get him over here to show you guys. He's already starting to wake up. He's been moving. Oh, come here, buddy. Oh, come here. Oh, come here. Oh. So, this is Mr. Little Ollie. Can you say hello to YouTube? Say, this is my first video, y'all. He's like, I'm awake. Yeah? You want to show them how big you are? Say, I'm a big baby. I'm curled up in my little ball, but I'm huge. So, this is Mr. Little Ollie. Which he's not really that little, like, look at him, you guys. And he, like, already has head control of his head. He holds it up on his own. It's crazy. So I will do some more videos for you guys, but this video is already like 20 minutes long and I can't edit anything out of it. So I hope you love it. I'm gonna try not to edit too much of my videos. I want to be real with you guys. So that's why I also don't mind not being able to edit, is I want you guys to see the real me and not see me cut parts out to make my videos look perfect. I want you guys to see, like, reality and real life mama. So Normally I don't have makeup on, but I decided to throw some makeup on for you guys tonight so I didn't look like a zombie and look super sleep deprived, I guess, even when he sleeps through the night. So anyways, I will do, he's going to be 2 months old at the end of this month, so I'll do like a 2 month video because I did miss his 1 month, like, video that I do, so I might do them like every 2 months, but anyways, I hope you all have an amazing night. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and definitely subscribe. I'd love you to be part of our family. Like my videos and definitely share if you want to share. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.